7 home selling myths busted. When it comes to selling your home in Oxfordshire, there's a lot of overwhelming information and old wives' tales out there, and it can sometimes be so difficult to separate the fact from the fiction. Advice often comes from well-meaning friends or family members who are just trying to be helpful, but in reality, they are not property experts. Here are 7 home selling myths you're likely to hear and why they're not to be believed. Number 1. Overpricing your home will lead to better offers. Unfortunately, many sellers believe that by overpricing their house to start with, it leaves more room for negotiation and ultimately a better offer. That's why we often see sellers marketing their properties with an agent who simply has come in with the highest possible valuation. However, this is entirely false. When buyers are looking at properties, they'll search within their price range, and if your property price has been inflated, then it's going to be competing against other properties that appear to be far better value for money, rather than sitting in the price bracket it actually should be in. This potentially means it will sit on the market for longer. Buyers whose budget doesn't stretch to the higher price range will miss out on seeing your property altogether, as they're not even looking in that price bracket. You'll attract far more offers and sell your property quickly if it's been priced fairly. It gives it a chance to stand out amongst other properties in its actual price range, rather than being in poor relation in the higher price category. And you're more likely to see interested parties competing upwards rather than knocking you down. Number 2, getting an immediate offer means it's priced too low. If you've resisted the urge to overprice your home and an offer comes in straight away, it's tempting to think that you've missed a trick by not marketing at a higher price. After all, if you had done, then you'd be a few £1,000s better off, surely. But again, this is false. Most buyers scour the market for a couple of months, waiting for that absolute perfect property come up, and there's a good chance that they've jumped in immediately to avoid missing out, like they may have done. Remember, if you've overpriced it, there's a chance that they wouldn't have found it in the first place. Number 3, a better offer will come along if you wait. This is another all too familiar trap that sellers fall into. After all, if you've had an offer on the very same day your home has gone on for sale, then surely there's likely to be a whole queue of buyers lining up for it. Well, no, not necessarily. You might just have been very lucky and that right buyer has come along at the right time. And if you receive a fair offer, then it's usually best to accept it, whether your property has been on the market for hours, days, weeks, or even months. Number 4, the estate agent with the lowest commission is the best option. While most people naturally want to earn as much money from their property sale as possible, it doesn't mean you should sign a contract with the estate agent who offers the cheapest fee. Selling a property can be a very stressful process. A good, solid estate agent will help it and make it run as smoothly as possible while communicating effectively and providing outstanding service. So it's crucial you weigh up what's included in their fee. Although it's very tempting to cut costs as much as possible in the short term, you might come to regret it over the longer term, especially if your property isn't selling. Number 5. Major renovations will offer the biggest return on investment. Many homeowners are under the impression that if they spend a few £1,000s on a conservatory, a swimming pool, or a landscape garden, they'll just be able to add that cost of it to the house when it comes to sell. Sadly, and we've seen it many times, it's not quite as simple as this. Not all buyers will want to maintain a pool or require the space that a conservatory ultimately takes away from their garden. For example, many buyers prefer to start with a blank canvas so they can add their own renovations. That's not to say that a major renovation is a bad idea, but if you're only doing it to see a return when you come to sell, then it might not actually be worth your while, considering the type of, the renovation or extension that will bring you the best returns. Number 6, it's not worth fixing the house up at all. This is a big one, and if you've decided to sell your property, it's understandable that you won't be thinking about spending even more money on it. After all, it won't be you seeing the benefits long term. To me, this logic is very flawed, and it could cost you when it comes to getting the full asking price. A property that's well maintained and looked after is far more appealing to buyers. fixing broken fences and gates, tidying up the garden, replacing broken windows or doors, and giving any tired rooms a fresh lick of paint will go a long way towards selling your property for its true valuation. Number 7, online valuations are 100% accurate. Online valuations are a fantastic tool and we most definitely like them. I'm in favor of them. However, a quick online valuation of your property should be used simply as a guide. Online tools don't always take into account the condition of a property or the extra value you may have added. They're simply using a similar size and types of properties in your area purely as a guideline. The best way to get your property valued is always to contact a local estate agent who will come and give you a proper valuation on your property in person. I hope this helps. It's Damion from Fine & Country.